Okay, so we're now in the menu. So what have we got here? We've got search. Obviously that's to search back your recorded video. So we'll click on that. You'll see here on the right hand side, it's got the camera names, or in this case they're not named, but you've got the camera, we've got 4 cameras running off this system at the moment. So they're all selected. So what I'm going to do is just select one camera, and then if you look down here, there's a timeline. Now that's over 24 hours. So what we'll do on the left hand side here where the mouse is, you'll see there's a play icon. So I'll hit that play, and that's now playing back that video. But to shorten this timeline, as I said, that's from 0 to 24, the 24 hours. Down the bottom here, you can shorten the timeline. In this case, so let's say we'll hit an hour. So that's just showing you a glimpse of an hour between 7:10 and almost 7:30. And what you'll see here is I can drag that across, and you can also, if you have a look on the top right hand corner, it's giving you the time that on the playback. So that was 7:19 a.m. But what you can see here, there's sections where, oops, I've actually moved that whole timeline across. Okay, so that's showing you 7:24. As you can see, in that timeline, it's yellow, and that's because it can see movement. So if you look in the video, you can see the top of my head there. That was moving into the camera shot. It's gone away now, but there you go. You can see that. That's why it's picked up activity, hence why that's yellow. So the way your recorder should have been set up, if I set it up that way, you will see that motion, which means there's more activity on that part of that timeline. Just makes it easier on playback. Obviously, going back up here, that's the date. So obviously you would select the date that you want to play back. And obviously, as I said, you can select more than one camera, but for instance, you can hit 2 cameras, and now it's playing back the 2 cameras at that time, 7:25, or obviously 3 or 4. But obviously if you select all your cameras, in your case, I think you've got 6 cameras on playback, well, first of all, if you select 6 cameras, you may not see them on the same playback frame, on the same playback screen, I should say. So you're probably better off just selecting 4 if you were going to select any more than the 1 or 2. So I've selected 4 there. We'll see what happens. In this case, this unit here, because it's unlike your unit, which is more of a high-end recorder, this recorder here is just having a hard time playing back all those cameras at high resolution at one time. So in this case, I would just select 2. But in your case, even if you selected 4, you shouldn't have an issue. So that's sort of in a nutshell your playback. So if I hit right click, I've hit right click a couple of times on the mouse, and that's got me out of that search portal. So these you may or may not need to know, but AI is basically where you set up the notifications for your cameras. So first of all, you would hit, say, IVS, select the channel. Actually, no, you would hit parameters. So that's parameters. Select the camera where you would like that feature turned on. So let's say we want D1, which is camera 1. I'd select that, so it makes it blue. I would apply, and then I would hit the IVS. So we're on channel 1. I would say add. So down the bottom there, I'm just clicking add, and then I will draw. So it brings up that camera, and you could just draw a line What that line basically just says is, are we going to detect human or motor vehicle, or both in this case? Directions, you can select whether you want it to go in one direction or the other, or in this case we'll say both. We hit OK, come back to this unit here and press apply. So as far as the camera, so I've just clicked out of the camera, you'll see that blue line when it's active. Now, in your case, you may have it on a timer. So when it's off timer, meaning it's not going to activate, you won't see that. You shouldn't see that blue line. That blue line only comes on when that timer activates and when the camera is going to either, well, if you've got one of the active cameras, when it's going to screen at pass-bys or send you notifications. Also, just here on the top right, you see that bell? So when it is armed, meaning that bell should be red, and when it's disarmed, it obviously goes white with a line going through the bell to indicate that it's off. So what I'm getting there is, if for whatever reason the unit's going off when you don't want it to go off, you can override it. You can just hit, if it's going off, it would mean that red bell's on and something's obviously triggering it. So you could just manually, with your mouse, click over that and switch off that feature. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the menu. So I'll right click again, I hit main menu. So you'll notice then it didn't ask us to import that pattern, the square, because we've already gone in there, and it usually allows you to be in there for, say, 10 to 15 minutes. It might ask you again before it locks you out. Alarm, that's an alarm feature for particular cameras. Again, if you have one of those, which you do, one of the smart cameras, that's where you set up the times and the arming. So we'll get out of that. That's in alarm. Maintenance, I mean, again, I don't think you're going to need to know too much about that. Backup. Okay, backup you may need to know. So, again, backup would be, obviously if you want to back up some video to a USB, obviously it's not going to show, I might come back to that in a second.